Hello, everybody. Hi, it's so good to see everybody here on Strength Asia's live stream, streaming live into Zoom as well as into Facebook Live. Welcome everybody. Just give everybody a wave here. Thank you very much. Hi, my name is Pong, and I am the CEO and founder of Strength Asia. Strength Asia is essentially at the very center of everything that we do. It's really about helping organizations and teams and leaders build a culture of engagement. And by that, it's about helping people like you and I, to become more engaged, to become, more productive, more satisfied, and get better in everything that we are doing here. So very quickly, I just want to introduce a little bit more about myself personally, because I think I'm seeing a lot of friends here. I see Joyce, coming onto Facebook Live. I see Doreen coming onto Facebook Live, and I see Eileen, and I see, Daniel, I see Dina, and all those different people coming on. Welcome, everyone. So for those that do not know me, let me just quickly introduce myself really quickly. I'm married, to a beautiful wife with 4 children, and actually now working from home, it's really, really a blessing to see them, every day, throughout the entire day. And there's 4 other friends I kind of want to introduce you to, and these are essentially, Magu, Cat, Kiko, and Mumu, right? These 4 little critters that have been really keeping me busy. Today, I've shut my door and I've closed my door. I've locked it so that none of them come in and disturb me over here. Today, welcome. This is the first of 4-part series on working smart during COVID-19. And today we are really talking about the 4 things that employees need in order to stay motivated and productive here. Now, we are using this Zoom Live platform as well as the, the Facebook Live here. So please, any questions, any comments, go ahead and use the chat box. Go ahead and use the Facebook comments page here, because whatever you are commenting, I would be able to see it. And where possible, I will try to respond, and where possible, I'll try to answer some questions here. Okay, today we are here. 4 things that employees need in order to stay motivated and productive working from home here. One thing I know for sure is that this is what they do not need. We do not need this guy around here, right? This guy here, we want him out of the way here. But the COVID-19, has came and has decided to stay with us for a little while. And actually for COVID-19, it is really changing and impacting our lives all over the world here. So I have a question here for everyone, right? How has COVID-19 essentially changed our lives? How has COVID-19 changed your life? How has COVID-19 changed my life here? I would love to hear from you. So go ahead, use the chat box, use the comments page, and kind of share with us very quickly what you think, COVID-19 has changed our lives here. So while I wait for everybody to come on board and kind of give me your comments, let me just share, my own personal view here, right? I think one of the most really important things here is that COVID-19 really has impacted, the world all over. And one of the things that it really has done is to put a microscope, right? A microscope onto the leaders, into the government, into the businesses of the world. All these guys are under a tremendous stress test here. Over the last few months, what they are doing and what they are not doing has major ramification, right? Of everything that we stand for, everything that we live for here. So this, as a matter of fact here, COVID-19 has really challenged, businesses, organizations, and nations in their BCPs, the business continuity plan, their risk management, the supply chain management. I mean, who would have imagined that we would ever run out of face masks? Can you imagine that, running out of face mask? I was before the shutdown, before the circuit breaker in Singapore, I went to buy some face masks, 50 face masks for a price of $38. That is crazy, right? That is really, really crazy. And who would ever imagine that we can ever run out of toilet paper here? Now, the second major impact I think COVID-19 has changed our lives is that I think it's really brought on a lot of misery and a lot of death around us here. Singapore is fairly well protected. I'm very grateful for that. But around the world, it's causing people to lose their jobs. It is causing people to, for families to be under really tremendous stress. Is brought on death. And then for some of the poorer nations, people are really in dire straits here, really, really bad. And that's why for me, I think as a Singaporean here, I am really, really grateful, that I'm here in Singapore. I just want to give a shout out to our government here in Singapore. Thank you very much, for, having, the whole entire team, Singapore government on overdrive in protecting and preserving every life here in Singapore, both young and old, both local and foreign here. So I just want to say thank you very, very much here. And I think the third thing that COVID-19 has really changed our life is really affecting our day-to-day routine daily lives here. Today, we no longer can just, wake up, hop onto the MRT and just go to work, right? And go to our favorite hawker center and eat our amazing, economic char bee hoon, or chi cheong fan or whatever, right? That's not going to happen because in the twinkle of an eye, in a moment's notice, right, everything changes. When circuit breaker sets in, every one of us, when we woke up from bed, we can no longer, WFO, we can't work from office, right? We now begin to all work from home here. And I'm seeing some chats coming in here, right? And this is from Jackie Ko that says, I'm closer to my family and enjoying the daily teaching and learning with my children who's not home-based learning. Time management becomes challenging, juggling between work, teaching kids, family, duty, and wife here, right? And I like, this is from Paul, lightning speed for digital telecommuting and working from home here. That is so true here. It affects our usual routine that we have always take for granted. That's from Esther Paul. Stacy says, change the way we live and work, going back to the essentials all over again. Rosemary Pan, you say change the way we manage our business and our clients. Absolutely spot on. And today, really, it's about having us come on board here and kind of share some ideas on how does COVID-19 has changed our business, impact us, and what can we do in response to this in helping our employees become more motivated and become more productive here. So we're all now working from home, right? Now, so the question right now is this, right? I want to ask the question, how has it been like, working from home for you? I already read some ideas there, so go ahead and continue to populate the chat box, continue to populate, the Facebook live comments here. I want to hear from you. How is it like working, from home for you here? Now, for me, ladies and gentlemen, it's really interesting. I never think that I would enjoy working from home actually, but the fact is that working from home has been really, really thoroughly enjoyable for me. For one, on a personal front, right, I really enjoy it because I'm seeing my family members every day. I mean, they're all grown-up kids. My wife and my 4 children, all grown-up kids. And usually in a normal day, we seldom see each other on a normal weekday because everybody is running all over the place. But this COVID-19 circuit breaker, working from home, I'm seeing my kids every day, and to me, that is a tremendous blessing here. I see some more new comments are coming in here, and I see Bonnie saying it's more productive, right? It's more productive, but distracted by cooking lunch and dinner. Yeah, absolutely, isn't it? Absolutely. So that's the personal front. I really enjoy the blessing of family here. On the business front, it's kind of surprised me. I thought I wouldn't be able to work well at home. I don't think I'll be productive. But ever since WFH started here, I realized I've been really super productive. I've been working longer hours. I've been Zooming every day. The things that we are doing are super urgent. And I guess there are reasons behind this, right? Because now you're really focused on the virtual platform. You're working in the comfort of your home. You are very, very at ease. You're taking a lot less breaks here. And as a result of that, I think most of us do experience that pressure, that urgency, that productivity. I'm not saying that all this is good here, and this is something that I really want to talk about in next Friday's talk here, where we are talking about how to stay productive, sane, and well, working from home here. So if you're interested in this topic here, I would love to see you next Friday, same time, same channel here. I got a note here from Jeremiah Tan that says we are utilizing every space in the home, for Zoom sessions taking place at the same time. Pressure on the Wi-Fi system to stay stable, and that is absolutely true. And the crazy thing is this, right? My eldest son, who is a techie, he really got a hindsight to upgrade all our Wi-Fi to really 800 max, 900 max, Mbps per minute here, right? And then that's just hindsight here. And then when he finished that, circuit breaker came into effect. So I was really, really fortunate on the Wi-Fi situation here. Susanna Go gave advice to everybody. Remember to exercise, and that is true. Remember to get up from the chair, walk around, do something, right? Let me just read one more. WFH, this is again from Esther Poe. WFH is really new to me, and suddenly I become an expert in organizing meeting online, able to engage more staff than ever. Wow. And Coxin say, yes, more appreciation for my spouse and children's well-being. So that's working from home from my personal perspective, right? Now, the other thing really is, it's really working from home. I think in the past, it seems to be viewed by people as a privilege. And so it's a novel idea. You're working from home. It's a privilege, but in today's context, in today's season, working from home is no longer a privilege. It is a necessity. And I think I just got a feeling that it is here to stay. It is not just simply going to go away, but it's here to stay. And because it's going to be a necessity, this is something that we really got to learn how to do well in working from home here. Time magazine, essentially describe what's happening right now working from home as the planet's largest experiment on working from home here. There's never ever one point in time where the whole entire planet acted in an uncoordinated manner in a coordinated way, such that everybody is either staying at home or everybody is actually working from home. Now, never in history has something like this happened. But we are living through this moment in history, and this is a pivotal moment. And when it is a pivotal moment in history, you can be jolly well sure that by the end this crisis is over, everything that we are used to is going to change. The way we do business, it is going to change. The way we relate to people, the way we work, it is entirely going to change. And the question for you and me is this: what's going to happen to you and I at the end of this whole crisis here? Well, to answer the question, it's this. What's going to happen to you and I, at the end of the crisis is totally dependent on what's going to happen to you and I, or what is happening to you and I as we are going through this crisis here. How you go through this crisis as a leader, as an employee, as a manager, as anyone in your role capacity is going to dictate and determine the outcome that's going to happen at the end of the crisis here. So as leaders, right, in our organizations, and by the way, every one of us are leaders, right? You are a leader, I'm a leader. You are an employee, I'm an employee. We lead at some capacity. We lead at home. We lead in our teams. We lead our bosses. Whatever it is. So all leaders, listen up. How you lead in this really, really interesting scenario, very interesting circumstance here, will dictate the outcome of your people, will dictate the outcome of your organizations here. And talking about leaders, there essentially are just two kinds of leaders here. Number one, the first kind of leader is that, it's a leader that really leads by helping people to become a little me, to become a little mini version of who you are. That means, do the things I do, say the things I do, say the things I say, think the way I think, right? Now, this is actually very, very suffocating. If you're that kind of leader, I'm going to advise you, hey, stop doing that, right? So don't try to be a little me leader. And that's the other kind of leader where it really helps people to become a bigger them. Helping people to become really, really who they are and to really grow into the potential of what they could really be. And honestly, in this current season and time, we really need people to really help other people to become a bigger them, a bigger, better version of who they already are. So one more thing here, right? As we talk about this whole thing here on leadership, one thing that kind of, reminded me is simply this. The interesting thing about us leading people to become a bigger them is sometimes we tend to start with really providing people the things that are most obvious here, right? So I know for a fact that when circuit breaker goes into action, or even before the time, a lot of corporations were already implementing their BCP plans, right? Equipping the people, resourcing the people so that they're getting the people all ready to work from home here. So there's a lot of emphasis put on the practical resource of helping people work from home here. But, I'm going to share this with you. I don't think just providing practical resource is sufficient in this time and day, because I think what is really, really more critical on top and above of the practical resource are the emotional and the psychological resource and the support here. And so as a leaders in these current times here, it's really, not just about providing practical stuff, but it's also about providing, the emotional stuff here. And why is that? Well, because right now in current reality, right, everybody, really do have that certain sense of uncertainty, fear, and anxiety. And why shouldn't they? Because, people's jobs are at stake here. We really do not know whether our jobs are going to be, be around, at the end of this whole crisis here. So people are naturally concerned about their livelihood. They're naturally concerned about their job security here, right? So the idea here is this. The other idea is, when you think about uncertainty, fear, and anxiety, employees, people who are uncertain, people who are in fear, or people who are anxious, they cannot be motivated and they cannot be productive here. So if you really want to help your people to be more motivated, be more productive in this really special season in time, you really got to deal with this sense of uncertainty, this sense of fear, this sense of anxiety here. And why is that? Because human beings, the way we experience life, right, is that, we experience life, rationally 30% of the time. But essentially the bulk of our experience in life, the bulk of experience in relationship with one another, is 70% emotional. And this is really, really an interesting fact here. Because right now, I know for a fact, you know for a fact, talking to friends, reading the newspapers, getting onto the internet, that the emotional element is really focused on the fear, on the uncertainty, and on the anxieties here. So that's the reason why, we really want to focus not just on the practical resource, but also the physical resource over here. Think about this, toilet paper. Can you imagine? We ran out of toilet paper. Now, logically, we cannot make sense out of it, isn't it? For the life of it, I didn't understand why people were fighting over toilet paper. I didn't understand why toilet paper, the price was going rocket high. But then you think about it. It is an emotional response to something that they don't understand. It's called panic. When people panic, it is an emotional response, and that is irrational. And we can't judge that. But if you really want your people to be productive, you really want your people to be engaged, you really want your people to be motivated, the clue for every one of us is to look for the emotional element here. I remember what Mary Angelou says. He said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So at the end of this whole crisis here, people may forget about what you have done for them. They may have forgotten, the computer that you provided for them to work from home here. But what they will remember every minute of it is how you have made them feel. So how do we do this? Well, essentially, how do we address this emotional piece here? Well, there are 4 needs of followers. There are 4 needs of employees that we need to meet in order to have them to be motivated and in order for them to be productive here. And these 4 needs are this: build trust with them, show compassion to them, create stability for them, and inspire hope in them. So the first one is build trust. Build trust is, hey, you know me, right? You know me. But build trust is not really, trust me. No, trust what I'm saying. Everything is going to be hunky-dory. Everything is going to be fine. No. It's not just about verbal assurance here. Verbal assurance is useful at sometimes, but in today's context, verbal assurance is not really that important. But what's really, really important is the assurance of accountability. Now, what do I mean by that? It simply means is, in order to build trust, with your people in this current season, is to really, become more open, to become more transparent, to become more honest, to become more predictable to them. What people need in today's context is a certain sense of predictability. Is that they know how you're going to respond when they're doing certain things. They know how you're going to react when you're doing certain things here. So the idea here is to be open, to be honest, and to be transparent here. And the truth is this, guys, I don't think any one of us, have the perfect answers to all the impossible questions that our employees are asking us. In this current time, we really don't have the answers here, right? But I think what our employees are expecting us are not these perfect answers to the impossible questions here. I think they're expecting us to be able to meet their emotional needs, by being open, by being honest, by being transparent, by being accountable to them here, right? And the second thing here is compassion. Show compassion. I know you. I know you. And compassion really is not about the touchy-feely kind of stuff here, right? I mean, it's useful, but in this instance here, it's more than that. I think compassion is I know you. I see you. I see your situation. I see what you're going through here. And right in this current moment, we always say it's a thought that counts, right? But really, in this current moment, the thought is not enough. You really got to find ways to show that you care. You really got to find ways to show that you are helping people. You're understanding people here. Why? Because your folks, they are going through really, really tremendous stress right now. There's a lot of fear and anxiety over unknown, uncertain things. That's one, right? Two, they are trying to fulfill business KPIs under very difficult situations here. And three, they are learning new technology to interact with their colleagues. And four, they are learning new ways of doing old things here. So there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of stake here. I think, if you're able to show compassion and say, hey, I know what you're going through, people actually feels that, you understand their predicaments. People actually felt that, their concerns are being heard by you. And I want to introduce 4 very simple words to you that you can use in this matter. The 4 simple words is, how can I help, right? How can I help? Simple words. Now, how can I help? When you say that to people, I don't think people would insist on you giving them the answers. But how can I help really can translate into, you have heard me. Yes, you understand what I'm going through here. And the third thing here is it's about, creating stability, right? Creating stability. Now, creating stability is, I know what you need. Now, before we do that, I just want to go back to the chat box here, and I think a number of people are posting different things here, right? I know I'm a little bit random here, but there's a lot of things on my screen here, and I hope you can understand the little bit of the randomness here. I'm quoting from PPCR here to say, hey, Kim Pong, yes, this is true. If you have children over 12 years old, I'd like to share that for working parents with a young child, HBL, this is a tough challenge. That is so true, right? Susanna goes here, learn new technology, use Teams, Zoom, Hangout, and that's exactly what I just said, right? There's a lot of stress going on in all this whole thing here, and I think the third need of followers here is to create stability. Create stability here is to let people know that, hey, I know what you need here. And creating stability here, again, is not just about providing the physical resources here, right? The practical resources here, but creating stability in such an uncertain season in time here is about creating a stability of constancy and normalcy. What is it that you as a leader, what is it that you as a manager or colleague in your team here can do to create a certain sense of normality, a certain sense of constantness, right? Because that is important. People like certain routines. People feel safe when there's certain predictable events are going to happen here. So essentially, there are a few things that I want to share with you, right? One is to communicate and communicate and communicate in order to create constancy and normalcy here. 2 is to check in and check in and check in. Now, communicate and check in, these 2 things are really simple things to do, and yet they are going to help you create that sense or that well-being of normalcy and constancy. Let me give you an example. So one of the things that you really could do is to really, check in with your team, regularly, frequently here, right? Now, the checking in sometimes is not about big things, but it can be about, hey, how did the week go? Checking in could be about, hey, what's the progress like? What are the challenges? How can I help, right? So this checking in, I think, is really useful because it allows people to kind of perhaps share what they're going through or even talk their confusion out loud here. So check in with your team members as frequently, as regularly as you can. I just came up from a call with one of our largest clients this morning, and I asked her, right, say, hey, look, how did you guys get your teams together? And they say, oh, we got into Facebook work page, right? And we create a check-in campaign for the entire team in my organization. So everybody has a Facebook check-in campaign page which they can actually access and begin to share different things. And the way they check in is not about, I'm doing this job here, I'm doing this job there. No, it's not just that, but it's about, hey guys, look, this is a cake that I've just baked here. Hey guys, this is the drawing that my children have just drawn, right? It's about not just about work, but it's also about personal matters and stuff like that. And I was really glad to hear that, because that really brings about a certain sense of normalcy and constancy to the relationship. The second thing, check-in and communication. Check in and communicate with your customers like nothing has happened. Just because there's COVID doesn't mean you stop contacting your customers. And I'm going to give you this advice here, everybody. Contact your customers like nothing is happening, even though the way you and I are serving the customers has completely changed today. Even though it may change even after the COVID-19, the fact that you still have access to your customer is what counts. Go and contact your customers and check in with them, because at the end of the whole crisis, they're going to remember how you made them feel. All right, and the last one here is hope, right? And for hope is to inspire hope. I know what drives you. I'm going to say one thing to you, ladies and gentlemen. In every time when you are in a situation whereby the environment or the surroundings is uncertain, right? You're not sure what's going on. The thing that shines the brightest is hope. Hope is the thing that really thrives, that's really a highly demanded commodity, right, in a time of uncertainty here. And, you want to inspire hope. And to inspire hope simply is to, help people figure out, help people know and understand, the importance of what they are doing today, because how, and share with them how this is going to impact their tomorrow here. So for hope here, essentially, it's about, before I forget, hope. This is really something that I want to say, hey, look, treat this like a capital, as an asset that you really, really want to develop during this period of crisis here. Because this hope, if you develop it well, it certainly is going to see you through this whole entire crisis. And at the same time, it's going to help you secure your future at the end. You know why? Because employees, managers, leaders who are hopeful, they are more resilient, they are more collaborative, they are more willing to experiment new things, they are more innovative, they are more adventurous in figuring out the things that you do not know, to do the things that are completely new to them. So if you really want to transform your business, if you want to pivot your people and pivot your resources into new opportunities, today and for tomorrow, figure out how to inspire hope in your people. And one very simple way, essentially, is this, is to tell your people what you want to achieve and why this is possible, and engage everybody on the team to figure out this new thing that you're working together. Now, I know for a fact that our working conditions has changed, but this is where the fun is, isn't it? That together you're going to figure out a way of doing this. Now, when people are involved in this whole thing, two things always happens to them. One, they become more committed. Two, they have a greater sense of ownership in this new journey that everybody is going through. And because of that, they're going to dig deep. They're going to go wide. They're going to do everything in their power to make it work, because they understand whatever they are planting today is going to impact their tomorrow. So these are the four things, right? Build trust, show compassion, create stability, and inspire hope here. And so let me just give you some takeaway, four takeaways. At the end, we're coming to 2-3 minutes of our sharing right now. So what can you do? Number one, be open, be honest, be predictable, be transparent. This is how you can build trust, because your team are looking to you to do all that. They're not looking for the perfect answers to an impossible question. They're looking for someone that they can trust. Number two, show that you care. And the four simple word is, how can I help? And remember this, people will remember how you made them feel. They're going to remember less about what you did for them. And the third one here is this, communicate and check in. Create a sense of normalcy, right? Check in with your teammates, check in with your people, and as importantly, check in with your customers like nothing has happened. Create a sense of normalcy and constancy. And last but not least, see and invest into hope as a precious asset. This is, probably one of the most important capital for your organizations today. Help your people to see and achieve things, for tomorrow. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is 3:28. We are done. I just saw the chat box on Stephen here. It says, if appropriate, share morning and evening updates with your manager and for teammates here. Stephen, just a shout out to you. Thank you for sharing that. I'm really, really glad that you guys are already doing that here, right? So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for coming on board for this talk here. And if you have any questions or you want to kind of contact us, send us an email on info@strengthasia.com. And that again is info@strengthasia.com. Once again, my name is Kim Pong, and I, from Strength Asia, on behalf of the team, we want to say thank you, be safe, and take care of your people. All right. So with that, hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.